Now between the lateral sulcus, posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus and the superior surface of the temporal lobe, that is the superior temporal gyrus, there is a portion of the cerebral cortex which gets hidden beneath this posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, and it appears like this. I'll show you in the specimen once we finish the gyri and sulci. That is known as the insular cortex, and this insular cortex is surrounded or separated by means of a sulcus. It's known as the circular sulcus, and this insular cortex is also known as the island of Riehl. So there is the circular sulcus which demarcates this hidden lobe or the insular cortex. And then on the surface, if you just separate the area to expose the insular cortex, you will see numerous long and short gyri. You will see long and short gyri and sulci, you see. So you have this central sulcus which is demarcating. What is the function of the insular cortex? What's the function? What's the function of insular lobe? It is involved in the visceral autonomic functions. Visceral autonomic functions or autonomic sensations which come from the viscera are perceived here. Then it is also involved in the pathway of taste and smell. Insular cortex is a part of which cortex? Piriform cortex. This is a component of the piriform cortex. So this is also involved in the pathway of taste and the smell. Alright. Now coming to the occipital lobe. Occipital pole, just behind the occipital pole, you have a half moon shaped sulcus. This is known as the lunate sulcus. This half moon shaped sulcus is known as the lunate sulcus. Then you have a transversely placed sulcus, which is the transverse occipital sulcus. Transverse occipital sulcus, right? And this transverse occipital sulcus subdivides the occipital lobe into superior and the inferior occipital lobules or the gyri. Superior occipital gyrus and the inferior occipital gyrus. Okay. Coming on to the medial surface. So what do you see? Not on the medial surface. You see what do you see on the medial surface? The corpus callosum. Right? So what are the parts? What is this? That's the rostrum. This is the genu, the body, and that's the splenium. Alright? And see fornix there. And you have the septum pellucidum. So let's come to the gyri and sulci. So the sulcus just above the corpus callosum, this sulcus is known as the callosal sulcus. Just here, this one. That's the callosal sulcus. Right? Then above that, then you have, what is this sulcus dipping down? What am I drawing? What is this? That's the central sulcus. This is the cingulate sulcus. Right? You have the cingulate sulcus. And what are the gyri now? This is the cingulate gyrus. And this gyrus, what you see, this is the medial frontal gyrus. Right? On the supralateral surface, we had the superior, middle and the inferior frontal gyrus. Still medially to the superior frontal gyrus, we have an extension of the frontal lobe. This forms the medial frontal gyrus. This region forms the medial frontal gyrus. Alright? And here you can see this is an extension from the cingulate sulcus. And then the portion of the cortex around the central sulcus, this will form a U-shaped area, and this forms the paracentral lobule. What is the significance of paracentral lobule?
Control of the limbs and
controls of the lower limbs and the bladder, the sphincters. Alright? It has the control for the lower limbs and the sphincters on both sides. So if you have a damage of the paracentral lobule, which area of the body will be damaged? The lower limb, and it will also affect the bladder and the bowel functions. Right?
That's the patient's
Now, what am I drawing?
the keys.
Right. Go, rest. Alright. Now on the medial surface, this sulcus what I have drawn here, this is the calcarine sulcus, and this sulcus is the parieto occipital sulcus. And the area between these two rami here, this is known as the cuneus. Alright? And the area above this is known as the precuneus. Alright? Just place your leg a little behind now, you're disturbing me.
Oh, Sadako. Oh, me.
Alright, okay. Now below that, you have this sulcus, very deep sulcus, which is known as the collateral sulcus. Collateral sulcus. Now why you should remember this collateral sulcus is very deep, that it produces an indentation so deep. So what will happen? You see this cavity? What is this cavity now? That's the lateral ventricle, right? So a portion of the lateral ventricle will enter the temporal pole down, which is the inferior horn. So imagine if this sulcus is deep, what will it do? It will protrude on the wall of the inferior horn, and it will produce a projection there. So you will read later on when you are doing the ventricles that this calcarine collateral sulcus is so deep that it produces a visible indentation on the inferior horn, the horn which is going into the temporal lobe of the cerebral hemisphere. And below this collateral sulcus we have another interrupted sulcus. This is known as the temporo-occipital sulcus. Temporo-occipital sulcus. Alright? Collateral sulcus, temporo-occipital sulcus. Now this gyrus, what you see here below this area would be the thalamus, then you have the indentation it will produce on the lateral ventricle, the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle.